My name is Daniel Kingston. I grew up with money, status, and expectations so heavy they could crush steel. My mother, Loretta Kingston, is one of the most powerful real estate moguls in Chicago. Elegant, sharp-tongued, and cold as glass, she raised me to be her heir, not her son. I was the pride of our family empire, groomed from childhood to take over Kingston properties. My life was structured: private schools, summer programs, internships with our own board of directors. Everything was business. Everything was legacy. Then came Emma. I met her on a rainy Tuesday when my car broke down near Logan Square. I ran into a small bookstore to wait out the storm. It was warm, smelled like old books and cinnamon, and standing behind the counter was the most beautiful woman I had ever seen. She wore jeans and a loose sweater, her curly brown hair up in a bun, a pencil behind one ear. She was barefoot, standing on a stool to arrange books on the highest shelf. She looked down at me, smiled, and said, "Looking for something real or just hiding from the rain?" I blinked. "Honestly, I have no idea." "Then you've come to the right place," she said. I smiled back. I didn't know it then, but I was falling hard. Her name was Emma Walsh. 27. No parents, no siblings. She'd aged out of the foster system and was working at the bookstore while attending community college for her literature degree. She loved classic novels, grilled cheese sandwiches, and thought poetry was food for the soul. I visited the bookstore every day after that. Bought books I didn't need. Asked her for recommendations. I just wanted excuses to hear her talk. 6 months later, I took her back to that same bookstore after hours. I had it strung with fairy lights and roses. I got down on one knee and proposed. She said yes before I even finished the sentence. The happiest moment of my life. But that happiness was short-lived. Because I had to tell my mother. I brought Emma to our estate in Winnetka. A mansion of glass and stone, with butlers at the door and a fountain in the driveway. Loretta Kingston met us in the drawing room. She didn't smile. Didn't hug Emma. Didn't even look her in the eye. "My son tells me he's in love," she said, sipping tea without offering us any. "And you're the girl who captured him." Emma smiled politely. "Yes, ma'am." Loretta raised a brow. "And where's your family, dear?" "I was raised in foster care." "I see," she said, setting down her cup. "So you have no ties. No history. No assets." "She has a heart of gold," I interrupted. "She's everything I've ever wanted." My mother looked at me like I had confessed a crime. After Emma left the room to freshen up, Loretta spoke plainly. "She's beneath you. She brings nothing to the table but a pretty face and a sob story. She brings love. Something this house has always lacked. She's an orphan, Daniel. Do you know what people will say? They'll say I married the love of my life." Loretta's voice went cold. "If you marry her, you do it without my blessing. And without my fortune." I stood up. "Then I'll build a new one. For her." And I did. We married in a public park with 20 guests, Emma in a borrowed dress and me in a thrifted tuxedo. Her foster sister Camille walked her down the aisle. My best friend Nate stood beside me. Loretta didn't come. Not a text. Not a word. We moved into a tiny loft above a coffee shop in Andersonville. Yellow walls, creaky floors, and a view of the alley. But it was ours. Emma painted the walls herself, and I planted herbs in old tin cans on the windowsill. I left Kingston Properties and started my own firm from scratch. Emma worked nights and took classes during the day. We lived off ramen noodles and love. We were broke. But we were so happy. Then came the jar. It was left at our doorstep in a fancy box with gold ribbon. Inside was a small glass container labeled, "For strength and healing." No note. Emma assumed it came from her foster sister. She warmed it up and took a few sips. 2 hours later, she collapsed in my arms. At the ER, they told me she'd been poisoned, rat poison. Trace amounts, but enough to cause internal bleeding if she'd finished the whole jar. I couldn't breathe. I sat by her hospital bed all night, watching her pale face and shivering lips. And then I drove to my mother's penthouse. You tried to kill her. She didn't deny it. I tried to protect you. She's my wife. She's a threat. She's innocent. She's a leech. I never want to see you again. I stormed out. And I meant it. Emma recovered, but she was never quite the same. Her smile dimmed. Her trust wavered. She still held my hand every night, but she looked over her shoulder more often. I promised to protect her, but the damage was done. For over a year, my mother was a ghost in our lives. Then one day, Emma surprised me. I want to meet her. What? Why? She's your mother. And if we ever have children, I want our child to know their grandmother. I was stunned. You want to forgive her? I want peace, she whispered. For me. For us. I arranged a meeting in a public cafe. Emma dressed simply. No makeup. No defense. Loretta arrived in black sunglasses and pearls. They spoke for over an hour. I watched from a distance, heart pounding. When Emma returned, she was pale but calm. She's not sorry, she said. But she's afraid. And maybe that's a start. After that, a strange truce formed. My mother sent flowers. Then a handwritten note. Emma wrote back. Then came the news that changed everything. Emma was pregnant. I came home to find her sitting on the bathroom floor, holding the test. Tears streamed down her face. I don't know if I'm ready, she said. I don't know if I'll be a good mother. I never had one. I dropped to my knees beside her. But you are everything I ever needed. And our baby will be lucky to have you. We cried, laughed, and danced in that tiny bathroom. Emma's pregnancy wasn't easy. She had morning sickness, back pain, and constant anxiety. Surprisingly, Loretta stepped in. She sent a care package of organic snacks, herbal teas, and baby books. She booked appointments. She even came over with soup. Emma looked at the jar nervously. I promise it's clean, Loretta said softly. I want to be part of this. If you'll let me. Emma nodded. One step at a time. Over time, Loretta became a fixture in our lives. She attended birthing classes with Emma. She helped us upgrade our apartment. She even learned to cook Emma's favorite meals. Then, at 7 months, disaster struck. During a routine checkup, the doctor found a heart defect in the baby. We'll need to operate within 24 hours of birth, he said. There's a risk. A high one. Emma sobbed in my arms. What if she doesn't make it? Loretta stepped forward. We will get the best care. Money is no object. She arranged for the top cardiac specialist in the country. Flew in a neonatal team. Donated a wing to the hospital. When our daughter, Grace, was born, she barely cried. She was rushed to surgery within minutes. I didn't even get to hold her. We waited 6 hours in silence. When the doctor finally walked in and said, "She made it," we all broke down. Even Loretta. Grace came home 3 weeks later. Tiny. Fragile. But alive. Emma spent every hour beside her. Loretta came every day with fresh food and gifts. She read books to Grace, sang lullabies, and called her "my little miracle." Our apartment was too small, so Loretta offered to buy us a house. I hesitated. We don't want handouts. This isn't charity, she said. This is family. We moved into a cozy house near Lake Michigan. White picket fence. A garden. A swing set. Emma began writing children's books, inspired by Grace. I grew my firm into something I could be proud of. Loretta retired from business and began teaching financial literacy to girls in the foster system. One night, Emma came to me as Grace slept in her crib. She loves Grace, she whispered. And she loves me now. I feel it. I think she always did. She just didn't know how. Emma nodded. I think I'm finally ready to forgive her. And she did. Now, years later, we are a family. Every Sunday, we have brunch on the porch. Emma bakes. Loretta tells stories. Grace runs around chasing butterflies. I look at them sometimes and wonder how we got here. How love found me in a bookstore. How pain almost tore us apart. And how forgiveness stitched us back together. Not all stories have fairy tale beginnings. But this one has the happiest ending I could have imagined. Epilogue. It was a cool autumn afternoon when Grace asked the question that melted everything inside me. Daddy, was Grandma always this nice? I looked down at her, 5 years old, curious eyes, chocolate around her lips from the cookies Loretta had baked that morning. I glanced at Loretta, who was sitting in the backyard, knitting a scarf in Grace's favorite color. Her hair was grayer now, softer around the edges. She hummed quietly as the wind danced through the trees. I knelt beside my daughter. No, sweetheart. She wasn't always. Grace frowned. Why? Because sometimes people get scared when they don't understand love. And it takes time for hearts to change. Did Mommy help her heart? Yes, I whispered, emotion thick in my throat. Mommy showed her how to love. That night, after Grace went to bed and the house was quiet, Emma and I sat on the porch wrapped in a blanket. Leaves rustled like whispers in the trees. She laid her head on my shoulder. Do you think Grace will ever really understand what we went through? Someday, I said. When she falls in love. When someone breaks her heart. When she learns what forgiveness means. Emma smiled, eyes glistening. Sometimes I still feel like that girl with no family, no place. I took her hand and placed it over my heart. This is your place. You made a home here. Not just for you. For all of us. Even for my mother. She closed her eyes. I never thought she'd call me her daughter. And now, I said gently, you're the only daughter she has. We sat in silence, the kind of silence that feels like prayer. Around us, life pulsed, soft, steady, and full of grace. The woman my mother tried to destroy had become the woman who saved us all. And as I looked at Emma, glowing in the moonlight, I knew. This love, this family, this journey was never perfect. But it was ours. And it was real. Forever.